We diagnosed this golf swing a few days ago, and after a brief discussion with the student, found out that this is a do-it-yourself golf swing formed from junior developments. Today we're going to take a look at the cause and effect and help this student address the concern of coming too far inside with up to 8 degrees of in-to-out path. Today let's look at the cause and effect of why and how we can help the student achieve a better motion. But if you do like this, hit that like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for all the channel membership supporters on the screen. If you do want to join this, 99 cents every 30 days, that money goes straight to the Halo Hood Foundation in Cape Flat, South Africa to get children into golf. But enough of that, let's go help the student out. Welcome back, Land Golf Academy members and guests. So we know the issue is inside to out up to 8 degrees, which can make it a little bit challenging to square that club face up in time. You either need to rotate a lot, get some extra tilt, and get the hands and arms involved. But what we're going to do is go through the checklist of things to look for. So first, we're going to look at where that spine angle is in relation to the foot, and also in relation to how centered you are. So from the center of the feet straight up to the sky, we can see that this is a pretty decent setup because that green line is going right in between the shaft and the spine angle line. However, I do see a little bit too much forward bend, so you can still hit that center line even if you stand up a little bit taller and even go down. So technically you can get your yellow line to look like this and still hit it. Now the one issue with having a lot of forward bend is this degree gets a little bit too much to keep in check. So what we're going to do is check now where the shoulder tilt is, and let's do this in blue so we don't get too confused here. So this is going to be this line here, and we see that this is about 46 degrees. Now let's go check to see if you do maintain your tilting, and we get to the top of the swing here, and there is your tilting. It should match 45, and you can see we are dipping down slightly, so we're looking at probably a 6 degrees of tilt increase. Now when you tilt your degrees forward, we get some weight issues, so now we're stuck on our toes a little bit too much. But let's back it up, because I believe right about here you do a pretty good job. So let's redo the lines now and see that is about 44 degrees. So basically that should be the length of your backswing in terms of the rotation of your body. Look at the left side of the screen. You are still in your posture. We see them as we get the club to go further back. Now all of a sudden all this extra motion that is unnecessary, you start falling. You start falling towards your toes more. You start dipping out of your circles, and that club gets a little bit too far back. So if you can just basically feel like your swing stops here in terms of your rotation, that's plenty of turn. We can see that your shoulder turn is pretty close to 90. We have our hip turn, which is pretty good here as well. So you don't need that extra motion, because that extra motion is going to play havoc with you while you try to get back down to the golf ball. Now what we're looking for ideally is, let's say you can get in this position. You can see your arms are even below your plane line at this point. You need to get these hands a little bit higher and more out in front of you. So at this position, the arms and hands should already be about here, so they're still connected to your chest and you are establishing some width. So they just need to raise up. Now be careful with this, because if you start raising your hands up, this might also cause you to tip towards the target. So we want to keep that in mind. But if you get your hands a little bit higher, at least they will be in a fighting chance to just drop down naturally down to your lower plane line while you turn. But because you get that extra motion back here, you can see your arms now are pulling back. And if we take a look at your turning radius, I mean, look at how much more turn you have just by that motion. And do we really need all this extra turn? That is the question. So now you've got a well past 90. Your hips are also turning. So do we really need all this turn? The answer is no, because for you, that extra turn starts to play havoc. That for you, that's the only way to get that extra turn, to get your hands up a little bit higher. But you're fooling yourself, because now your hand travel has to go all the way back around while you unwind. So think about this. If you get to the top of your swing and you have a shoulder turn of 120 degrees, to get it down to impact, you probably are looking to try to get it to 20 to 25 degrees open at impact. You've got to rotate your shoulders and tilt 145 degrees. That's a lot of motion while your hands are trying to travel back and keep up with that turn. Because as you see, when you come down into impact, you are starting to rotate. Now your hands kind of fall behind the game here. They are too far behind you. Now they have to to make up all this extra room. So this extra motion is almost unnecessary to try and hit the golf ball, because you stop your rotation to get your hands to try and catch up to impact, because you do a good job, but you can see your angle is not carrying down that much. So I know that you mentioned you're trying to open up to the target, but you really can't, because there's so much turn on the way back. I'd rather you limit your turn on the way back. So if you can take that 120 degree shoulder turn at the top, turn it to 90, you've already eliminated 30 degrees of rotation. You can definitely save that 30 degrees of rotation and move the same way you do, but you'd be more open at impact, and your arms and hands won't have to help you get that club back on top of the plane. Here you can see it's below the plane. It has to come on top somehow, and for you it's, look at that, you look at the right side of the screen, it's a lot of this hand throwing that club back out in front instead of holding on that angle a little bit more and rotating through. So let's do a quick shoulder tilt test to see how much shoulder tilt we do actually get. So we're going to take this number here and push it to this number here. So on the left side of the screen, you do see we get 22 degrees of tilting from the face-on view. Let's look at the right side of the screen and see if those two match up. We go from the top of the swing and let's see what we, yeah, so you got 54 degrees. So you gained 9 degrees of tilt, which is too much. And just past impact, let's see what we have now. We have about 16 degrees. So you gain enough tilting. However, when you're tilting too much, that's going to put some emphasis on your hands and arms to try and help you make contact with the golf ball. Specifically when your head is dipped down. As you take that club back, your head dips down automatically. So I know you might be trying to steal some ground force by going down and jumping back up, but when you are moving so far down, plus you have over rotated, plus you're getting too tilty, now you have to really tilt but hold off that release because you don't want to hit the ground, and then you have to get your hands and arms to compress into your body, cross the chest, release your hand. If you take a look here, this position right here on the right side of the screen, this is what's giving you that 8 degrees of inside to out. And we can see you try your best there. Look at that, still inside to out. You want this club head to be probably right on that lower plane line, which will really help you not get so into out. So my recommendation for you is definitely get the hands to alleviate up. Get them to go up higher. Feel like you're reaching for the sky, but don't turn so much. Maintain your posture and rotate. You have a really good swing. It is very powerful and unique. And lastly, let's just check your basic starting positions. Let's check that ball position, and it is going right through the hands and right through the center of the chest. So it looks pretty good. I would say that your setup is pretty good. You can see that it's very neutral. You have a nice neutral grip. On the right side of the screen, just make the changes. You might want to stand slightly taller with the knees, so maybe a little bit taller here, but definitely want to get some height with that spine. So when you're tilting, you can maintain that level tilt. You don't need 45 degrees of starting bend, and then that tilting is going to be very tragic for you, specifically when you tend to go down. So give that a try. Let me know if that helps you, but I hope this helps you, ladies and gentlemen, at home. It's a quick review to see how golf swings are so unique, and don't fall for one modality or one swing training aid or one method or a specific YouTube video. It is so individualized. It is a lottery chance that you find the right thing for you, unless you go see somebody certified to help you out. Hope that helps you. See you next time. Fairways and greens.